If you have been asking if healing is real,
stick around and find out that healing is for real, and we don't mean maybe. My name is Tony.
and I am Zane, and we are two witnesses and representatives
Of the miraculous gospel of healing. That music is it's peaceful, but yet it's invigorating at the same time.
I agree with
I
that.
like it.
I like
All right. I am Tony Myers.
And I am Zane Fuego on the mic.
And what? I'm not on the mic?
We on the mic.
All right. Today. So last week
Mhm.
we talked about how we should expect every time to be instantaneous and
And we
not
also
progressive.
and we also showed you scriptural support and evidence that that is the posture that you're supposed to be in. It is the right thing before God.
Anything less than that is not right in the eyes of God.
Yeah.
So today, I cringe at some things I hear people say. And those cringing moments are when I'm hearing an expectation in that person that, and sometimes they'll even come out and say it. Well, as long as I improve every day, I'm fine with that. No. Here's the reason why. One of the reasons why. Hope deferred makes the heart sick.
Yeah.
The desire comes, and it is the tree of life.
Yeah.
Now, let me break that down into English for us that are not scholars. Hope is confident expectation. Confident expectation put off makes the body sick. Because if the heart's sick, the body's sick. Okay? Now, the desire comes, and it is the tree of life. Desire is strong motivation to have it now. Desire is not. I'm waiting till it comes.
Oh gosh.
No, desire is I want it all and I want it now.
No.
What you got to say for myself, moly, holy brothers?
I have an analogy that I think that might be helpful here, right? Let's say your body is a house and sickness is a tornado. And the tornado pass and take out the front of your house, whoosh. Do you want to fix the house now? Or do you say, well, once we get the brick today and I get a brick tomorrow, I go do that. Nobody will do that.
Wait a minute. I'm going to disagree with you.
Doctor.
All right. This is true story.
Okay.
One of our very few restaurants here on the boondocks that we have is a Taco Bell, right?
Okay.
Somebody literally drove through the front of the Taco Bell.
No shucks.
Okay. This was very recently. They didn't go through the whole restaurant, but they went through the wall.
Right.
And they had to close down.
Okay.
They were closed down for 2 weeks to fix it, right?
Right.
eternally, wall structurally, I'm sure they fixed the structure of it. I'm
Right.
pretty sure. Okay. But all that, what's showing now, because you had the window, so they replaced the window,
Right.
and then below the window was brick.
Okay.
All right. They have not replaced the brick. All that's there is a piece of plywood. But that's how a lot of us treat healing.
That's true. And obviously, y'all don't have bandits in your tongue. Right? Well,
Actually,
everybody.
you gave me the idea. I'm going to be in Taco Bell tonight. Hey, they make battery powered saws nowadays. Zip, 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 and I'm in.
You understand?
But
But
that's what we do, folks. We
yeah,
get to a point where we're comfortable. That is why it's so important to be expecting the fullness now from A to Z. Now, that is not to say to get on yourself, condemn yourself.
right.
It's just not, do not be accepting of
Complacent.
less. Go
Complacent.
ahead.
That's the word. That's the word. Complacent.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Do not be complacent. Do not put it off.
And that's why I use the example, because if you know that the front of your house gone and you live in a dangerous neighborhood, you don't get up in the morning and say, well, this morning I put one brick and two bricks there. We will do this along the way. Whilst every night somebody you could get up to the barrel of a gun in front of your face.
Mhm.
In the same way, what you do is not, condemn yourself if you don't complete it today, but you press to do as much as you can every single day. You do as much as you can and as much as is possible. If you take that and you do that until it is finished. If it is not finished, you're not condemned. You just continue to work at it until it is fully restored.
And you could say you increase your desire to see it completed.
Exactly. Exactly. And in the same way, if we take that analogy and we translate it into healing, is maintaining the conviction and the high priority of the restoration of the body, at least respecting the sacrifice of Yeshua with high integrity. High integrity. And if it doesn't come immediately, then that's all right. Just like you won't condemn yourself if you don't complete the front of the house. If you don't get it immediately, that's okay. You continue to press for instantaneous until it is done.
But what is not okay is when you see absolutely no improvements. That's when, because I have known people, I'm believing for 22 years and nothing's happened. Number one, that's an impossibility. If you are believing, if you're facing it with conviction, as we talked about in the prior episode, there is no question mark.
No.
So
Anybody who says that,
there should not be 1 minute. There's something you should have been able to recognize that something had changed immediately. It is not a matter of waiting around until it happens.
or at least,
Which
bro,
that's the problem. That's what we do. We're waiting around until it happens.
and that's because, and that exactly what you're saying there is always something that I see amongst the body. 'Cause I know I could talk about it because I came from Pentecostalism, right? And in Pentecostalism, they taught you that God has to do it. They taught you that God has given you promises and God in the sky will fulfill it for you. what is the actual truth in the Bible. Read the Bible. It does not say what the denominational church is saying, which is why everybody in the denominational church past 10, 40 years and they're saying they're waiting for God to do it. Moses' law didn't work like that. Moses' law was you kept 613 commandments, which was to not do what the man in the garden wouldn't do, and then the covenant would upgrade it to priesthood, and then God's promises were your new commandments. Listen to that now. God's promises were your new commandments. What does that mean? It means that healing is a commandment. It is not a suggestion. And that means that you have to actually take up that position in God and treat it as though that is law. Conviction. The conviction of what God says is the only law that exists, and there is no other option.
Which is exactly what Moses demonstrated at the parting of the Red Sea.
Yes, sir.
That's what Moses demonstrated. Moses took action.
Because Moses in Exodus 14, right? He told the people, be calm.
Yep.
God will do it. The
And
same
then
thing that we
God
saying.
says, what are you saying to those people?
Yes, exactly. He said it. Look, let me read the thing, because we need to debunk that. Look at this. Tell me if you all haven't been saying exactly what Moses was saying to the people, and listen to God's response. Right? Exodus 14. All right. So Moses is in front of the sea. And this is what he says. They see the Egyptians coming. Verse 13, and Moses said unto the people, fear ye not. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord.
And be slaughtered.
Right? Which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians you have seen today, you shall see them again no more. Yahweh shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. You saying the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
And what is God's response to that? And Yahweh said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Now notice Moses didn't say, oh God, give me healing or give me salvation. Moses just started to say something that deferred the responsibility from him to God. And God called that crying out to him, because you're giving him the responsibility. He says this, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward, but lift up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it.
Tonyism. That means this. Get off your duff and you command the sea to part.
Stop deferring the responsibility. And for 30 years, some of you deferring the responsibility to God. And this is not to condemn you. What you're saying is that you have been taught the wrong thing for 30 years. If you're doing that for 30 years, you've been doing the wrong thing. And to do the same thing over and over every day and expect a different result
is insanity.
It's called insanity. Right? According to Mr. Albert Einstein, who, by the way, is a Jew. Right? I just say, right? In this case, what we're basically saying, what Holy Brother Tony is basically saying there is, when you came into Christ, Christ lives in you. If Christ lives in you, guess who have to do it? You. Because Christ has to function through your body. And therefore, we're basically saying that you should not, in any form or fashion, defer the responsibility to God when God has given you the ability, through conviction, to take action and do that which is right before God. And the right thing is here is that you are healed.
And
act upon the conviction.
as soon as you have true conviction, that's when it happens. Which is
And that
why I brought up the verse, hope deferred makes the heart
makes the
sick.
heart sick. And there's nothing wrong if you say you're convicted. Because trust me, in all of my experience, conviction works, even for me. And I had the experience, as I explained in last episodes before, I had the experience of having the fear of death and losing the conviction. Felt like
Yes.
it was gone and struggled with that until I came back out and find the conviction and then restored to life and health again. So there's nothing wrong if you need to question. If you're saying 30 years you have a conviction, then at least question, is your conviction straight? Are you convicted on the right thing?
Yes.
Because you could be convicted that God will do it over time, and God didn't say that. And you ain't seen the results because you're convicted on things that God didn't say. Be convicted on what the scripture says.
And that is something that I've heard often is people will take the verse that, okay, believing that you have received, ye shall have it. They leave the ye shall have it as a question, as an open statement, as a question. Okay, you may have it, don't say exactly when you'll have it. Yes, it does, when you believe it. But they will leave that open-ended instead. And this is where we're just accepting, well, whenever it happens, that's
You,
when our hope is put off. It's not in the present. Jesus was always in the present. And then they use Jesus as an excuse. And there are people that will say, well, it took time for him to walk to the temple. No, no, no. The healing was immediate.
watch me. Do you know why? This is something I addressed in one of my coaching sessions. Do you know why most people find themselves there? This might hurt. I'm just saying, this might hurt. Most of the times, believers who supposed to be the people of the highest integrity in the room are the people of the lower integrity. And you're applying your lack of integrity to yourself, to God. Because you don't even treat your own word serious.
Mm.
So you have no idea of how God could keep his word because you don't keep your word. It's your lifestyle that biting in your butt.
What do they call that? Projecting?
Should I be saying that publicly? Yes, it is called projecting. It's called projecting.
You're projecting yourself onto God's what do you call it? Personality. You're saying he's the same way you are. He's not. Let
Exactly.
all men be liars. God's
Exactly.
word be truth.
Exactly. A lot of believers do that, Holy Brother, because
Yes.
they are accustomed not even treating their own words and their promises and what they say with seriousness. So they live in a paradigm where it is expected that he might, because you always might. You don't ever
Right.
say yes or no. You always might
Exactly.
as well.
So hopefully, when I use that word, I mean I am confidently expecting that this will end.
Right.
You let your desire be full bloom for this present moment. Accept what comes along, but desire for it now. And remember our analogies. Those analogies are very good analogies.
Awesome.
Do you want to replace your house by one brick a day over a year's period of time? Or do you want it all replaced now so you can go out and play your Atari game? Do they even make Ataris anymore? I don't know.
I don't even know.
Be blessed.
Hold on. Let me just throw in this verse here. Hold on to the blessing. This is Proverbs chapter 3. This is a verse I personally use to keep myself in check.
Okay.
It says, the foolishness of man undermines his way, ruining whatever he undertakes. Then his heart is resentful and rages against Yahweh. For being a fool, he blames Yahweh instead of himself.
Oh!
Let that settle. I keep that as a mantra behind me.
Yes.
That I don't ever blame God. I need to check myself. Get any blessing there now. You gotta get them all blessing on top of that.
Be blessed.
Be healed.
And be a blessing.
Boom.